We got, can XDefiant compete with Call of Duty? Oh baby, let me see what the Act Maestro has to say.
This is the Act Man here, and today, Call of Duty might finally have some real competition. You know,
Maybe.
as a Halo fan, that sentence just made me a little sad. However, for the last 3 years, a new first-person shooter had been lurking in the shadows, but rumors of development trouble had circled the web.
Ubisoft XDefiant has been delayed indefinitely, which doesn't seem great.
The release date kept getting pushed back.
Bro, I'm tired of these stupid ass journalists saying delays are bad. Like, if a game gets delayed and it comes out better on the delayed date than if it were to on like the proposed initial date, then I think that's perfectly fine.
And then in April of 2023, a closed beta test saw this game surprisingly grab more viewers on Twitch than Call of Duty. And
Well, let me see. Call of Duty 26K, Call of Duty 15K, XDefiant 64K. I mean, it's got like the new FPS bump, so everyone's trying it out and whatnot. So, I mean, it's understandable.
viewers on Twitch than Call of Duty. And we started hearing the phrase COD killer again. I'm talking about XDefiant, a game developed.
I mean, every FPS wants to say that they're like the COD killer or whatever. The only thing that can kill COD is itself. And it already, in my opinion, it already has. All right? COD killed itself.
And released by Ubisoft with the former executive producer of Call of Duty up until 2015.
Nice.
I know, the deal's sounding a little better. Mark Rubin was the executive producer at Infinity Ward, so he oversaw production of all of the Call of Duty games that we consistently, you know, all the games that we
jerk off. Yeah. Okay, so that's pretty cool. Surprise, surprise. The new COD killer was made being led by the guy that made the good ass OG Call of Duties. What a surprise.
we've held up to this gold standard. And when you have a guy like that, it immediately draws my attention. Even more so when apparently 1 million people logged in to play XDefiant within 2.5 hours of its launch. And while naturally free-to-play games will get more players, that's pretty good. Now, what is XDefiant in a nutshell? Well, it's a fast-paced 6v6 multiplayer shooter with maps and operators from Ubisoft's other franchises. You'll immediately notice the similarities it has to the core of Call of Duty. And it's clear they're trying to innovate on that classic formula. And while
honestly, dude, it is so hard to innovate when it comes to FPS. It is so hard. Why? Because the skill of putting a reticle on top of a target is so simple yet so hard for everybody. It is. Like, you can't really innovate on that part, on the aiming part. So what do you have to do? You have to innovate on literally everything else. You have to innovate on the modes, the movement, the visuals, the options, the customizations. You have to literally innovate everything else besides the act of aiming.
This makes the game instantly recognizable, easy to grasp. This also means that XDefiant has some identity issues, which we'll talk about later on. Basically, XDefiant is an answer, a solution, a prayer answered to longtime Call of Duty fans who have been exhausted with the franchise lately.
Does XDefiant have an anti-cheat? I have no idea. Does it or does it not?
Call of Duty veterans, if you will.
Because I've always said this for a lot of my like FPS videos. Any new developer that wants to come out with a new game, a new FPS game, it's not enough for the game to come out and be good. It's not enough. You have to come out with an all-encompassing anti-cheat, and you have to be voracious in constantly updating it. It's simply not enough to have an all-encompassing FPS. It's not.
Veterans, people like me who shake their fist in the air and say, back in my day when characters were killed, they stayed dead. With XDefiant making waves, there's been a sort of renaissance with Call of Duty YouTubers. But why is that? Today, I'll be answering these questions and the biggest question of all. Can XDefiant compete with Call of Duty? This
Maybe.
video is sponsored by XDefiant. Now, if you have some concerns about that, I understand. And this is not a full review of XDefiant. The game is free to play, so if you don't want to take my word for it, you can hop in and try it out yourself. Now, I think if you've watched any of my Call of Duty reviews and you resonate with the things I like and don't like about Call of Duty, how the series has progressed over the years, if you enjoy those reviews, I think you'll most likely enjoy XDefiant, and you will certainly enjoy this video. And yes, we will be talking about the monetization. Thankfully, you cannot purchase any weapon or equipment with real money, so right off the bat, there's not a trace of any pay-to-win nonsense.
Right.
Let's talk gameplay.
With FPSs, there's no... The pay-to-win aspect doesn't come in an obvious form, such as, oh, I buy the new gun, I buy the new equipment, I automatically do more damage. That is not the case with FPSs. What is more the case that, I mean, I've personally seen is the cosmetics and the gun skins. You know, if they keep, I mean, I don't know how they're doing everything. I'm sure you'll explain it, but like, I'm sure everybody from Call of Duty Warzone will remember the tryhard skin of just a solid black onesie jumpsuit that all the people had, because it's solid black, and when you go prone in like a little dark corner or something like that, you just blend in. Everybody was calling that, oh, that's the pay to win skin, because it's just solid black and whatnot. It blends in anywhere there's shadow. So, and it's not as obvious as like, oh, increased damage number go up. You know, that's like it's a cosmetic. So, I mean, and at least in the form of Apex, if we're going to drag Apex into this yet again, there are skins. So, well, there are gun skins that are just overall have a smaller form factor to the gun, making certain gun skins, since they all are smaller in form, it gives you more room to look around on your screen. So, I mean, you know, when you buy like one of these pay to win gun skins, it's not like the damage goes up, but if the gun is noticeably smaller and takes up less screen space, I mean, I can't help but to say that that is pay to win.
How does XDefiant feel? It definitely feels like classic older Call of Duty games. Now, I streamed my first time playing XDefiant completely blind, zero expectations, and I was pleasantly surprised. Oh my! What
are those hit markers?
Oh, almost with the quad. Almost with the quad.
Okay,
bro.
I mean, the TTK seems like good enough. Like it's not like instant, but it's not like super long. It seems faster than Apex, but slower than like an insta kill, like in like CS or Val.
The fast-paced combat and movement is solid for the most part. The weapons all feel great, and would you look at that? They even got the right names for them.
Oh,
it's always
wow.
nice to see that. And that's the thing. XDefiant almost feels like it was made to address a lot of criticisms around COD. For example, there has always been a love-hate relationship with kill streaks.
Yeah.
And XDefiant...
You love getting kill streaks. You hate getting killed by kill streaks. That's the relationship. In order for you to not get killed by a kill streak, you need to be getting your kill streaks first.
Doesn't have any.
Oh my goodness!
Oh shit!
You also can't go prone. What does this do? Well,
oh wow, I didn't know that. That's actually really cool. So in XDefiant, you can't go prone? Or wait, all these old CODs you couldn't go... No, the old CODs you could go prone.
Gets rid of the age-old strategy of camping in a single spot like an asshole.
Yeah.
But it also gets rid of drop shotting.
That's a good thing. Proning in FPSs is like, unless the game has, like, it's built around being able to go prone, and it's like some sort of like military simulator or something like that, there's no, besides like warping your hitbox and making it like really small, or like having a drastic difference in like your hitbox shape, there is no real like gain to going prone. You move way slower. Your little aim cone that is like right in front of you, like once you hit like the edge of the cone, like you have to like lift your mouse up and keep like swiping, or I mean, in the case of controller, like you'll have like your normal sense in the cone, but then once you reach the one side of the cone, it's like you just like aim slower. So Yeah, I don't think anybody wants to do that.
Sometimes these things are fine in Call of Duty, but not having these things in XDefiant makes the game more approachable, casual, and laid back. No kill streaks, you know, you might think that doesn't sound very fun, but it makes playing the objective way more enjoyable, because you're incentivized to. Call of Duty has always had an issue with prioritizing individual.
Like, I didn't, Jesus. Like, I never really paid attention to this, but like the old Call of Duties, there is so much muzzle flash. Like, Jesus Christ.
Efforts and not really encouraging teamwork. Why? Because unlocking skins and getting kill streaks is often more fun than winning the match.
Yeah.
That is both a testament to COD's amazing progression, but it can also make matches suck ass when nobody is playing to win. XDefiant addresses this directly in an attempt to bring back the casual fun of COD. Reduce the sweating in lobbies, you know.
Well, they can try and attempt to reduce the sweating, but come on. There's people that are going to sweat. They just are.
We're not at the gym. We don't need to perspirate this much, okay? They want to remove the toxic builds, the cheap strategies.
No. I mean, yes, they want to, but come on. FPSs are competitive by nature. They just are. And with that extreme competition comes, unfortunately, extreme toxicity.
XDefiant has a longer time to kill, and I usually prefer that because it means firefights are less determined by who shot first. XDefiant is taking a more casual, arcade approach to things. Take movement, for example. It's pretty fast. Nothing too crazy, but it's also not as heavy and grounded as a more realistic modern shooter would be. XDefiant is not perfect though. One of the biggest balancing problems is movement. Now, we all like to go fast and hit the zoomies and outmaneuver other players, but if bunny hopping and movement exploits become the meta, the thing that defines skill, XDefiant may not end up being so casual. I found a perfect clip from Reddit to illustrate exactly what I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there has to be some sort of movement tech in this thing. So let me see. This kind of player is unsufferable. Bro, you're just mad because you can't do it, and you don't want to do it, but you're tired of getting got by this type of player, and I haven't even seen the clip yet. You don't want to sweat that much. All right. Does this game have like a ranked mode yet? Does this game have pubs yet? Does this game have little wonky side modes you can do for fun? Those are all questions that I have. Damn, bro, that boy got hit with the Neo strafe. Jesus, I didn't know, bro, the air strafe in this game. I didn't know it was that crazy. Sheesh.
Yeah, it looks a little silly, doesn't it? What's really silly is mid-air strafing, like jumping this way but changing direction in the middle of a jump, almost like it's a double jump.
Damn.
It's really hard to like pin someone down or be able to predict which way they're going.
I didn't know that type of movement was possible. Okay, so I'll say this. The thing with this type of movement, it's fun to do. It's not fun to go against. And the thing, I would like to compare this to like the kill streaks that he was talking about with the relationship of everybody has a love-hate thing going on with it. So I would argue that for most kill streaks, you can't really counterplay a kill streak outside of, whipping out your missile, wasting a life or two, and shooting the kill streak down. You can shoot down a UAV, so there's like some level of counterplay to that type of kill streak. And then like on the higher ones, like was it like the old Harrier, you had to waste like 2 missiles on it. And then like the bigger kill streaks, like the chopper gunner, or what was the other one, AC-130, didn't you have to waste like 3 or 4 missiles on it? But like, to be honest, what was it, like, you're not going, like, you only spawn in with like 2 missiles, so you have to hopefully get 2 missiles off before the kill streak can kill you, hopefully, and then you spawn in again, to waste your other 2 missiles to, get rid of that kill streak. If you're going to do it like solo, a lot of the times when I was playing Call of Duty, nobody really had like an anti kill streak class. Everybody always played with like this is my main the AR class, this is my main submachine gun class, this is my main shotgun class, this is my main sniper class, this is my main LMG class, and then the last one was like whatever, like some wonky thing, my melee class or some shit like that. Seldom did I run into people that had like an anti, what do you call it, like kill streak class. Yes, they existed, but it wasn't really the norm, I think. So something like this with the whole neo strafing thing, there is a level of counterplay to this. It's just, you have to shoot the person. And I know that's like, nobody wants to hear that because not every person is going to move like this. So when you're conditioned to people that don't move like this, and then all of a sudden, oh wow, this person's doing all this like fucking air strafing bullshit, then it's like it just catches you out of nowhere. And it's off-putting. It's understandable, but there is still always the option to just shoot that person.
He also jumps 5 times in 3 seconds. This is something players do in like every firefight. They just constantly bounce, and you're like, well,
yeah, I don't like that. To be honest, if this game didn't have, so XDefiant doesn't have a go prone button. I don't know. Can you crouch in this game? This is a thing that is becoming more and more of a thing with fucking FPSs, and I find it egregious. It's so disgusting. I hate it. If there is some stances that you can go in, like standing, crouching, prone, they did away with prone. If there was the option to change stance, higher level players will always choose to spam the change stance. So that you have things like crouch spamming to like warp your hitbox. If you can't crouch spam, what do? You jump spam. All right. Is there any penalty to shooting while in the air? So that's something that they could do to promote like stop jumping. What's another game that has a lot of players that jump spam? Overwatch. Right? Whether or not you think Overwatch is relevant in the conversation is whatever, but it's another, moderately popular FPS that also has players that do a lot of jump spamming because there is no stance changing down into like either crouch or prone in that game. So this is not like unheard of. And yes, by your face, you're disgusted. I too am disgusted. I don't want to be having to like jump up like on a goddamn pogo stick the whole goddamn match every time I take a gunfight. I think it's ridiculous.
Well, shit, should I be doing that too? It's not the greatest meta to have.
Yeah.
I think they should keep the same pace of gameplay, but, maybe add a punishment to jumping this much. But Mark Rupin has said they're addressing this already. XDefiant is in its preseason, so it's a time for them to figure things out. And I think it's a good sign that they're listening and reacting to player feedback so quickly. So hopefully the balancing only improves. I like that XDefiant also puts a greater emphasis on teamwork than Call of Duty does, because you can play as operators from 5 different factions, each with their own abilities, passives, and ultimates. These can
the great equalizer. Teamwork and abilities.
Support your teammates or disrupt your foes. It's kind of like a hybrid between a class and a hero. Cleaners are the pyrotechnics. They can pull out a flamethrower that insta-kills anyone at short range. They can launch a drone that leaves a trail of fire and explodes. And if you pick this faction, all of your weapons will have incendiary bullets.
What?
Nice.
Which, when combined with the sniper, is a recipe for some straight bullshit.
Nice. Oh, Jesus.
Dude, that fucking sniper is so... That's like actually... I hate that.
Bro, let me see that again. I don't think you guys saw. So, he's got 120 health.
Recipe for some straight bullshit.
Guys, the active names in our lobby. Oh my god.
Went to 6, ticked down to 4, then 2, and then 0. And I don't know what kind of shot he got hit by. I don't know if it was a headshot. It'd be really fucking abhorrent if it was like a body shot, like a shot to the stomach or something like that. That'd be really bad. But hey, if he hit him with a headshot, I mean, hey, you have no sympathy here, Act Man.
That fucking sniper is so, that's like, actually, I hate that. Like, if you get hit, but you make it around a corner, you survive, the fire damage will get you. It's not the most annoying thing in the world, but with how good snipers...
Because snipers, that one shot, feel like bullshit because there's no counterplay to them. But here's the question. If somebody has like a flaming sniper and like gets a headshot on you, do you think it's like that's the reward for hitting a headshot on a sniper? Should it be like an insta death? Or like if that was like just a regular sniper with no flame, you would have been at 6. So you would have been able to like get behind cover, heal up or whatever. But some dude figured out, oh, let me put the fire on the bullet so that way there's less of a chance to like jump out. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it probably feels like super shitty to get hit by this all the time. It would seem like they have to change this, but like I don't know what the goals of the developer are for something like this.
I've gone up against this strategy quite often. The Echelon are the stealthier class that can use camo. Makes sense, they're from Splinter Cell. Libertad are healers.
Oh, they can go invisible. Oh boy, that's gotta be so fun to fight against.
Phantoms are tanks with energy and riot shields, and the DedSec use hacking and disruption. So there's a nice variety of roles and tactics to play around with. The abilities are fun to use, but like I said, they don't turn XDefiant into a hero shooter. It is nice to be able to shield or heal.
I mean, it kind of seems like it. All the abilities are on like a cooldown, no? It's like diet hero shooter, it seems.
Your teammates, provide powerful buffs, or receive those.
Well, there's wall hacks. Everybody loves those because you just download cheats for the game and you use the guise and you download walls and you just use the guise of, oh, I had wall hacks on because there's actual wall hacks in the game. I'm not actually cheating. And then when the wall hack goes off, they're still using walls. Ugh, I hate this meta, the scan meta in FPSs.
Those buffs in return. The post-game stats screen is nice too. At the end, you get to see everyone's accomplishments in different categories.
Play of the game.
Shit, it just says present.
I'm present.
We're here. Good.
And good. At least the game shows like how many times you killed people, how many times you died. Because what was it? Was it like a Battlefield that did away with like showing your deaths? Or one of the Call of Duties, there was like a time where it's like, okay, these guys are getting too sweaty. We can't be showing players the amount of deaths on their screen because they're just going to get so discouraged from playing the game. And then blah, blah, blah. They're going to quit playing because they see how much you're dying. So we're just going to stop showing them deaths. It's like, what a bonehead move.
Congratulations, you played the video game. Also, when you lose, the background text just says, losers.
Winners win, losers lose.
The ultimates are powerful, but I have yet to play a match where I've gotten to use mine twice. And sometimes not at all. So you're not getting killed by overpowered shit a whole lot in this game. It's cute that you can upvote your teammates based on what they did, and that'll give them extra XP. It's cute. It's fun to give.
Good.
Now let's talk about the 4-letter acronym that strikes fear and terror into the hearts of all COD fans. SBMM.
Oh my god, here we go. Now the real game begins.
Or skill-based matchmaking. Each year, every Call of Duty fan takes part in the annual skill-based matchmaking complaint-a-thon, where a new game comes out, we play it for about a week.
Oh no, it's just been ongoing for like the last 10 years since it came out in, what was it, like 2018 or 2019? It's been going on for the last 5-6 years.
And then we start bitching about
it never stopped.
Matchmaking. But you know, at first when you hear someone complain about SBMM, your first instinct is sometimes to be like, you're coping, seething, malding, get good, you're bad, uninstall your own life. But I'm not crazy.
Mad cause bad.
I'm not the only one who has noticed this pattern.
SBMM, I've said this before and I'll say it again, man. SBMM is I dare say killing video games as a whole. If SBMM wasn't a thing, I would stream multiplayer.
I've noticed these changes in every COD since Modern Warfare 2019.
Yeah.
You start off playing pretty well, then you get some really, really oppressive lobbies where it seems like you're playing with people who understand the most meta strategies and know all the exploits. You just feel like out of your element. Skill-based matchmaking has been a major point of
you got to preserve that 50-50 win rate with all of the player base. That is the most ideal situation in the developer's head.
Tension in the COD community for the last...
In pubs. Even in pubs. All right? Like, nobody is really complaining if the game has SBMM, MMMM in the ranked mode of their FPS. Nobody's complaining about SBMM in the ranked mode. People are complaining when there's SBMM, even SBMM light, SBMM diet in the pubs of their game.
Last 5 years, and XDefiant is trying to deliver the same kind of old school Call of Duty fun while addressing that skill-based matchmaking issue. Mark Rubin has made extensive posts providing great arguments for why he...
Oh boy, actually, let me read this. Let me take a second. My take on hashtag SBMM. Sorry for the long read, but I want it to be as clear as I can be. Also, if what I'm saying interests you, I am working on a new FPS coming out next year at PlayXDefiant. Go to playxdefiant.com to sign up to play in our January test to see for yourself. Okay. Let me just grease the groove. I was not expecting a gigantic essay. Interesting. Okay, so skill-based matchmaking, SBMM, has been a hot topic for a while and was trending today on Twitter. So I wanted to take some time to write up my thoughts. One thing I'm not going to do is try and make it divisive. Okay, that's impossible. The goal of SBMM is to divide. So this is a lie. I'm not here to say that people who like SBMM are wrong or that people who don't want SBMM are right. This is just my point of view and maybe one shared by a portion of the community. Okay. So before we continue, oh boy, I'm going to draw this one again. Whammo. Line, yellow. Woo. Woohoo. Pencil. Actually, squiggle. Can I do this? And like bend it like that. And then let me see. Can I do a line here? Oh shit. I fucked it up. Oh wait, kind of not fucking it up. Oh, I can do two squiggles. Okay. So now we do a line here. I'm learning. We're going to do this. And then fuck. Damn it. Son of a bitch. Here, whatever. Brush. I'm just going to brush it. Never reaches 0. All right, boom. That's the middle. This is right there. This is right there. Okay. This is, let's call this, what do you want to call this? Do you want to call this like the top 5%? Not even. No. Let's undo that. Let's call this the top. No, fuck it. Just for easy. For easy. That's called the top 5%. So boom, there's 10% of the player base. And even that, it's not even, it's actually less. And here is like 45. Here's another 45. So this is the basic bell curve And this is skill. Go that way, skill get more. Or a skill over here, and this is time. Shit, I fucked it up. And then, okay. This is time. This is skill. Or actually, I know I had it right. Whatever. Actually, fuck this. You know what I mean. So, skill-based matchmaking is fine for this side. Why? Because these players will always they will always be fine with having a seemingly I don't know, what do you call it, 50% win-lose ratio. The trouble happens when you get past this point right here. Skill-based matchmaking starts to suck over here because you start to only play against people of the same skill level. All right. And again, I'm going to reiterate this. People are not complaining about this in the ranked mode of their game. It's expected. When you're plat in a game, you expect to go up against plat players. People are complaining about skill-based matchmaking in the public mode of their favorite FPS game. That's the issue. But let me see this. Okay, back to the essay. So, to be upfront and clear, I am not a fan of SBMM. And here is why. Oh, okay. This is like a huge qualifier. I'm not a fan of SBMM, but we're going to have it in the game, unfortunately, because we got to protect our players. I think that's what I'm predicting. When you play a game using strict SBMM, he's got to have that strict qualifier in there. You are playing with and against a group of players that are, for the most part, just like you. They have a similar skill level and probably play in a similar way as you. Okay? Again, nobody's complaining about SBMM in ranked mode. Everybody is complaining about SBMM in the casual mode. And on paper, that sounds kind of fair. And you would be right if strict competition is your goal. And I am fine having that kind of experience in a ranked mode. Ooh, where there is a goal and reward for playing competitively. But would you watch football if there were no standings? Ooh, good question. No playoffs or no Super Bowl? Ranked exists for a reason. Okay, this guy's spitting fire right now. To give players who want to push themselves competitively a place to do so and to be rewarded for it. But when it comes to casual play, I don't think this is the right experience. Wow. I was not expecting this. Actually cooking right now. Okay. So again, with strict SBMM, or I'm tired of saying SBMM, or even the new term, engagement-based matchmaking. Oh boy, EBMM, which just sounds like PR, marketing, smoke and mirrors to me. You're going to get an experience where every match feels the same. Yep, you will be playing against the same type of player, and the same skill level of player over and over and over and over and over again. Yep. And if you start to improve your skills, you will probably get a few games in where you feel a bit dominant, but don't worry, the algorithm will bring you back to the same stale experience shortly, because the system, the algorithm, must preserve that 50-50 win-lose ratio. I am in favor of removing SBMM from casual play because I want players to have a varied experience. And no, it's not about pub stomping, it's about variety. Okay, if this is the case, Mr. Mark Rubin, then have some variety modes of gameplay in your game. Look at Halo. Look at the old Halos when Forge came out. Look at how many different types of modes that are in that game. It's not about just, 6v6, the team deathmatch, right? That gets boring pretty fucking quick. Have a bunch of non-competitive modes that people can just run around and have fun with. Look at what do you call it? Look at Rocket League. All right, you have your ranked modes of like one solos, duos, and trios, but then also you have things like hoops or that other mode where you get like power ups and shit and can like do some wonky shit. There's a ton of things, different. Was it? You have like different environments, like you have ice to like slide around in or whatever. There's a ton of different modes that you can do in Rocket League that are just like whatever fun. Start making some casual, fun, wonky modes. The graph of player skill is a bell curve, and so when matchmaking and no SBMM, and depending on where you are on that curve, most players are in the middle, cause bell curve, duh, you will mathematically, on average, have players in your lobby that are better than you and players that are worse than you. Now, the people right smack in the middle will have 50% of players better than them and 50% of the players worse than them on average. And if you are somewhere else on the curve, you will get the obvious, you can do this math, percent averages that match your position. But the key here is average. That doesn't mean every match will be the same. Some matches you'll feel like you're getting stomped, and some matches you'll feel like you're doing the stomping. And you will be able to feel your improvements as the math of averages adjust to your new skill level. To me, the key is a great gaming experience is this variety. I want to play against players better than me, and I want to feel proud of being one of the better players in a match. All right. And I feel that SBMM takes away that variety and makes me play the same match over and over again. True. This guy's actually cooking.
He doesn't want it in XDefiant, and it's refreshing to see a studio actually address it and try to do something about it. Activision and the Call of Duty developers have avoided addressing SBMM directly for years because they don't need to, because the truth is Call of Duty's revenue and player retention and player counts are bringing in money, so they don't have to change anything. So on paper, XDefiant absolutely could compete with COD for simply providing some of the things that fans have been asking to be put in Call of Duty. XDefiant has a boot camp playlist for players level 25 and under. This is a nice casual way for new players to get a feeling for the gameplay, to learn the maps, and not go up against, you know, tryhards.
True. So true. This is fine. I agree with this. You need to protect the new players from your general player base, because as time goes on, the general population of FPS players in any given game will just slowly go up. This is demonstrated with every FPS.
Outside of this welcome playlist, there is no skill-based matchmaking in XDefiant.
Is there? Is there now? That's crazy.
We did it, fellas. We did. Well, we didn't do it. The developers did, but we complained enough that somebody listened and decided to do something.
Oh,
I haven't
shit.
had the same issues I've had in previous Call of Duties. I didn't feel like I had to try to have fun.
Okay.
I just was. I wasn't motivated by kill streaks or, you know, getting 100 headshots, just shooting guys and trying to do the objective and play as a team. Respawns are also a notorious issue in Call of Duty, but in this game, they're surprisingly good on all modes. I mean, you can still get spawn trapped, of course, but I've never had a spawn into instant death moment, which again is something you'll run into when there's powerful kill streaks being used all the time. Sometimes there's hit registration issues and snipers don't flinch enough when they're shot, but there's no like major red flags when it comes to balancing and the core combat and gameplay. There are, however, flaws when it comes to content. For a game that pursues a more casual FPS experience, you'd expect there to be a lot more game modes and variety.
Yeah, this is what I was saying. If you want to have a casual based FPS, you need to come out swinging with all the game modes that take advantage of your movement system, that take advantage of all the guns, take advantage of all the abilities in your game, all the verticality of your level. You need to take advantage of all that. You need to put your little creative thinking hat on and figure out some modes to do besides 6v6 TDM or whatever that game mode was where it looked like push from fucking Overwatch.
Everything is balanced around 6v6, so we don't have BTB or bigger maps to play on. The modes in the game are fine. I just want there to be more unique stuff.
Yes.
Hotshot is like a funny version of Kill Confirmed, where the more kills you confirm, the faster you go until you become the hotshot. But besides that, there's just not enough wacky fun to be had.
Yep.
I want to see more creative modes and maps in the future, more stuff to interact with.
And do not bring them out as limited time modes. Come out with new modes and leave them in the game.
The maps themselves are decent. They don't have any crazy standout designs, but they service the game just fine. What about progression and custom classes? I'd say it's about the same. Passable, not exemplary.
All right,
Weapon
that's fine.
customization is all right. Again, everything seems a bit
Yeah, it's fine to, like, I always hate leveling up guns, but I mean, if they gotta do it, they gotta do it to like some degree, as long as it's not like any one gun. There's 100 levels to every gun, and only the good attachments are at the end of the fucking thing or whatever to make the gun like usable. Like, it's just horrible.
generic. It plays great, but I don't feel as satisfied with unlocking new attachments and new guns. But maybe that's just me. Maybe it's also because all the weapons are super
And it's understandable to have these like same stats that I used to see in like Call of Duty of like firepower, mobility, accuracy, and ammo. Like me personally, I'm so sick of like these like basic bitch fucking stats, you know? Like, it's fine they have this shit over here, like magnification, aim down sight, hit flinch, 10% ADS time. Like, they need to have like more of these type of stats than this like general bullshit. Like, be a little more detailed. I know it's not that type of game. He already said it's a casual game, but I am just so tired of games trivializing all of the mechanics that go into an FPS game and watering them down for the casual audience. How about educate your audience and help them figure out what's good and what's bad?
familiar. You know, where the rocket launchers or underbarrel flamethrowers, throwing knives, fuck it, put a boomerang in this game. I don't know. I really want to see more experimental stuff.
Like, one thing I will say that fighting games do well, for the most part, is they try to educate their player base, even if it's like something basic as like, do this combo. You know, like in Marvel vs. Capcom, there were like, what was it, like 10, 15, 20 little combo trials you had to do. Like, this is a basic combo: light, medium, heavy. This is the next level: light, medium, heavy, launcher, jump up, medium, medium, heavy, special, smack them back down. That's the next level. You know, educate your audience, for Christ's sake. Help them, give them a little, you know, combo tutorial, you know, as a concept. Help them figure out what's good, what's bad.
Now, I'm not saying you should just straight up copy COD's progression. I'm saying give me better rewards. I don't really feel like I've unlocked anything that made me super excited or something that was going to change a certain playstyle of mine dramatically. There's something about the unlocks that isn't quite hitting the dopamine receptors. Battle Pass progression is painfully slow. It takes like an hour to unlock one tier.
Jesus.
Double XP almost feels like regular XP. It's just been halved. And you also have to complete basic challenges to unlock weapons and equipment.
Yeah.
So overall,
that's standard bullshit, garbage, dailies and weeklies and whatever. I mean,
the modes and the type of content and the amount of it, the progression, XDefiant does the job. It just doesn't excel at it. Now let's talk about monetization. Who doesn't love a good cosmetic or an in-game store? As a loyal consumer of video games, as somebody who loves consuming, look at all the consuming I've done. I don't really feel incentivized to spend money on XDefiant. I don't think some of the bundles are worth it. And that's partially a good thing, because you're not being tempted with better weapons and shit like, oh, you want to...
Well, that's the marketing and art department fucking up. That's what they're doing wrong. They're not making their skins like good enough or like visually appealing enough to make you want to spend money. So that's their fault.
to get better at the game? You want to stop sucking ass? Ooh, spend a little money, get this cool weapon. There's none of that. The battle pass has like one unlockable weapon and the rest is cosmetic. Here's the thing, I don't really care about the cosmetics yet, and I believe battle passes expire, so FOMO.
Oh yeah, expirable battle passes. What a joke. What an archaic system. Whenever you come out with a battle pass, just leave it in the game. Let people complete it. And then when the next battle pass comes out, give people the option to select what battle pass they want to work on. Why do you have to have like a form of FOMO in your game? Actual bonehead behavior.
Not good. Do the Halo Infinite, do the Helldiver system, please. It's way better. I would probably spend more money on the game if that were the case. Now, while Ubisoft has been under fire for some of their business decisions lately, it's important to remember that the actual developers of this game, the people who design the product, and those who decide how it's monetized are two radically different groups of people. So I believe in giving XDefiant an honest chance as a game, even if I'm critical of Ubisoft in other ways. I think XDefiant has a lot to offer FPS fans that have grown tired of how try-hard newer games can be. But
that's just FPS in general, dude. That's just FPS in general. The FPS genre as a whole is like in shambles right now. It's in shambles. There's nothing good to play. Like, there's a lot of people that are hungry for like a good FPS, and there's been a couple that have came out. You know, you have like Fortnite no build, you had Apex for a couple years, you had a what else? When I say FPS, I mean like multiplayer FPS. Like Call of Duty has been like on controller for a while. Call of Duty is dominated by controller. Halo is dominated by controller. Fortnite is like mixed input. Apex mixed input. CS and Val it's primarily, what do you call it, M&K, but Valorant is currently coming out with like that you can play console Valorant, which is, I think, is fine. You have Rainbow Six Siege, which is mixed input. I'd have to you have Overwatch, which is, you know, I think it's like mixed input, but like there's a very divisive audience between like M&K and like console Overwatch. You can like, the console bros can like opt in to play with computers or something, but primarily competitive Overwatch is like on M&K. Like outside of those few games, I'd have to like Quake is dominated by M&K. Outside of those games, like what FPS genre or what multiplayer FPSs are there? There's none. There needs to be more, but I mean, I think XDefiant is trying to do like a decent job with, you know, trying to you know, be a competitor for COD. You know, more competition is always good. I dig it. They just need to do better.
One thing I think needs to be figured out soon, and easily my biggest critique with XDefiant, is its lack of identity. Now here's the thing, with new franchises, there's no built-up expectation, right? So there's a certain amount of leniency you'll give a brand new IP when it comes out. Notice I only say lack of identity, because the truth is, being in limbo is certainly preferable to being in hell. I pose this challenge to you, loyal viewer. Describe XDefiant to someone who has never heard of it, without comparing or referencing it to any other specific video games.
Oh shit, that's actually pretty hard. Yeah, I can't do it. Oh yeah, and then you had Finals. Finals has like unique game modes and shit like that, you know, but
it's hard, isn't it?
Yeah.
Splitgate may have been called Halo with portals, and it was unique and fun for a time.
Yeah.
But didn't quite have a lot of staying power. What worries me is when so much of your brand recognition relies on other brands.
Yeah.
This game kind of relies on people already being familiar with Call of Duty and Overwatch, Team Fortress 2, whatever. Which most people are, don't get me wrong. But the point I'm trying to make is that if Ubisoft wants XDefiant to compete with Call of Duty, they need to be able to like point at parts of it and be like, this is what makes XDefiant XDefiant. This is what makes our game unique. And that's hard to do without comparing XDefiant to other games. But I'm also...
I mean, you seemingly have like decent air strafe speed and you have like abilities. So I think that's a pretty good amount of difference, like right there. But like, I still would need more.
A fucking dweeb who talks about video games on the internet for a living, so these complaints may not matter as much to you. Now, out of the games represented in XDefiant, I've only played Splinter Cell, and it's been a while.
Yeah.
Still, I'm familiar with Far Cry and Watch Dogs, but I don't recognize any of these operators. Like, who is this Zelda from Far Cry? Is this a known character? I tried looking her up. I couldn't find anything on this character. Is it a real person? Let me know in the comments below. You know who I do know? Sam Fisher.
Yeah.
And when I see Sam Fisher or those iconic goggles, that's all it takes for me to look at something and be like, ah, that's Splinter Cell.
Yeah.
I don't even know the name of the guy who has the famous, "Do you want to know the definition of insanity?" quote from Far Cry, but
Yeah.
I know what his face looks like. XDefiant needs more marketable operators because there's no story, there's not really a main setting. You're not really restricted to anything. That's the thing. Despite taking inspiration from multiple reputable Ubisoft franchises, I don't recognize a single one of these people or operators.
All right.
Don't be sad. This is just how it works out sometimes.
Shit, man, you guys have a whole bunch of recognizable characters from Rainbow Six Siege.
Yeah.
And they are going to add more factions, so highly likely they will add Siege into this. You know, not every game has it all figured out on day one. In fact, most games don't have it all figured out on day one, sadly.
True.
I'm going to keep it real, Ubisoft. If you want XDefiant to stick around, it'll need more than the standard battle pass, the standard seasonal updates, the standard live service promises we've seen in 100 different games before. You're gonna need something new, unique, and fresh. So, can XDefiant compete with Call of Duty? Well, right now they couldn't have released it at a better time, but they could have released it in a better state. I think the game has loads of untapped potential. If you're a fan of Call of Duty or you're looking for a new FPS game to get good at, I would absolutely check it out. If the developers play their cards right, listen to player feedback, and commit to adding substantial content and getting creative with things, I think they'll discover a better sense of their identity and what makes XDefiant unique. In that sense, I think it can compete with Black Ops 6. The question is, will it? But what do you think? Are you enjoying XDefiant? Have you even played it at all?
Nope.
Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments below. Like the video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to the Act Man for more awesome content. Alright everyone, that's all I got for today. This is the Act Man signing out.
Peace.
Peace.
Oh.
So I want to talk about this.
Okay.
What's up?
So, yeah. Great video. Can it compete with Call of Duty? Probably. It could probably compete with it. It'll probably take a dent out of the Call of Duty player base. You didn't really talk about like the anti-cheat, or I don't even know if there is one or whatever. But it's probably going to be only a matter of time before like more and more cheaters come out of the woodworks and whatnot, unless they come out with something. But you know, if they can come out with a pretty good anti-cheat, I mean, I'll say that'll be good. Yeah, I'd probably agree with him in that it's not unique enough. You got to come out with like some more like wonky game modes and figure your shit out, dude. That's all I can say. Oh yeah, there was like another thing that I heard about XDefiant. There was like some patch or some update that came out recently, and whenever you go to change stance from like standing to crouching, I think your reticle just goes fucking crazy whenever you stance change. So if that's the case, bro, that's gonna piss off so many players. That's crazy that they would implement that. Whenever you stance change, your reticle goes like bonkers. I mean, but that, like, thinking about like it like that, it's like if they want to stop players from like either crouch spamming or jump spamming, then you have to put a penalty in the game for it. So, I mean, I guess it could be good. Stop crouch spamming, stop jump spamming. You know, do those things, like, not in a gunfight, you dorks. But, I mean, overall, good video. But yeah, hopefully XDefiant can figure its identity out and come out swinging. But yeah, great video. Looking forward to seeing more. But that's pretty much it for me. I'll catch you guys on the next one. All right, later.